Hello and welcome to another daily devotion. As this week we talk about elements of biblical humor that's sometimes packed in the text of the Bible that at first read you're just reading it seriously. And you go back and it's pretty funny. For example, with the Apostle Paul, we talked about him a little bit last time and his tendency to go on in his sermons or his daily devotions. But anyway, I'll try to keep this short. Paul, in both Corinthians, first letter to the Church of Corinth, and Galatians, has some pretty colorful language if you read it in the Greek. First, he gets this letter apparently from the Church of Corinth saying that somebody's sleeping with his father's wife, apparently from a second marriage, that people are suing each other in the church, that people are showing up to communion drunk, and people are fighting and having lawsuits, and Paul says, "Oh my gosh!" So he writes this letter. He says, "Thank God I didn't baptize any of you people." Well, on second thought, I did baptize Crispus and Gaius, but anybody else? And you can feel the smoke coming off of Paul as he's writing. Gosh darn it! And he's breaking pencils, breaking his quill. You guys are ticking me off. And finally, he says, "Should I come to you gently with some kind words, or do I have to come with a stick and beat it into you guys? Don't make it reminds me of when I'm driving. Dad, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Don't make me come back there, kid." And you get this kind of short fuse of Paul. Well, then later in the book of Galatians, Paul's writing about how the leaders in Jerusalem, the strict kosher Jews, he's Jewish too, but remember, he's gone off on his own ministering to Gentiles, to Greeks and Scythians and Egyptians and etc., etc. And they come to spy on him, and insist that he circumcise these Gentile heathens. So Paul writes again, "I wish you guys would quit spying on me. I'm doing this not because anybody gave me permission, but because God told me to do it." And then, in a very pointed Greek play on words, he says, You're worried about circumcision? I wish you'd just go cut off your wangs. Go cut off your yoo-hoos. Go emasculate yourselves sit in the corner. And you worried about circumcision? I'll give you circumcision. Give me the moil and the steady hand. Anyway, if you read this stuff, Paul is super colorful, and it's almost like, you're on a bar stool talking to this guy, and he's just getting all worked up about these petty disagreements in the church. And he's saying, oh my gosh. You know what the problem with the church is? People. And you see it in the lines of these letters. And it's, for somebody who works in the church, I sometimes have to go back if I've had a particularly difficult day, and I read that and I say, yeah, ministry's not always easy. You got to have a lot of patience, and God grant me the wisdom and patience not to lose my mind, right? And you see it there in the pages of the first letter of the Corinthians and Galatians. And man, it is terrific stuff, because you realize that Paul is an everyday kind of average person who's struggling to try and figure out, knowing that some sheep in the flock are a lot easier to love than others. And there you have it, as we look at the second text of biblical humor.